It's me, player.
Hello, hello, hello! As you can tell from that cringy intro that I have just filmed, yeah, I'm back and cringier than ever. I have not changed at all, I'm afraid. I have not mellowed out. It's very, very embarrassing. But no, as you can tell, I'm in a different location. I'm in my mum's bedroom because the lighting in my bedroom is terrible. And I filmed it a couple of days ago, looked at the lighting, went fucking hell, and had to redo it. So I'm here. Hello, I'm in this atmosphere. I look pasty, but I'm ginger, so it kind of fits. But wear sunglasses throughout this video because it's just going to be blinding, really. But no, yes, hello, I am back, and I thought I would come back because you know what? I didn't really enjoy doing my vlogs. I kind of like to talk. I like to talk with my hands. I like the sound of my own voice. So I thought, you know what? You started with Dunkirk. Let's start with another Christopher Nolan video. Mr. Christopher Nolan made Tenet, and I thought, well, I have high opinions of this film, so why not brace the internet once more and listen to my controversial opinion of Christopher Nolan's Tenet. So, as you can hear, controversial, it could go either way, because I've kind of stayed out of the conversation on Twitter, but I'm going to just start off with this. I didn't think this film should have come out when it did. I thought it should have come out in 2021 because Christopher Nolan's films are renowned for bringing people who don't go to the cinemas to the cinemas. And yes, we need that right now in the crazy times that is 2020. But I do believe this film is going to fail because of it. If they did it in 2021, there's more chance of people being able to actually go and see this film, and people who don't usually go to the cinemas would still come out to the cinemas, whereas now they aren't really going to risk that chance of wearing a mask all the way through a 3-hour film, which, believe me, with glasses isn't the best. So the film won't generate as much money as it will, and it will probably make a loss because Christopher Nolan's films ain't cheap. But hey, it came out when it came out. I didn't get to see it in BFI IMAX in London, but you know what? Kind of glad I didn't, because it saved me some money. Because you know what? As much as I love Christopher Nolan, and I really do love Christopher Nolan, I did not enjoy this film. Now, I've been doing a blog recently without doing my reviews, and if you saw my blog on Christopher Nolan and how I rate his films, you will understand that I like Inception. It's my least favourite Christopher Nolan film, but stylistically it's my favourite. And if you know my full opinion on Inception, you will probably understand why I don't like this film. Because they kind of are the same. Now, yes, when it came out, there was speculation it's going to be like James Bond meets North by Northwest meets Inception. And to be fair, it is. It's literally Christopher Nolan going, hey, I'm not going to do another franchise again, but if I was going to do James Bond, this is how I would do James Bond. And you know what? I didn't like it. It seemed a bit style over substance. But then with it, it kind of just bombarded you with too much plot. It told you to see the world like in a different way. Like, I kind of got some of the mechanics of it, and to be fair, maybe on a second watch I will understand a little bit more what the hell is going on. But even with Inception, I highly doubt that, because I've watched Inception like 5 billion times and I don't actually understand what the hell's going on. And I feel that I might have the same problem with this film as I do with Inception, that the fact that if I watch this more, I won't actually really still understand what's happening with it. And that's not a critique on Christopher Nolan, because like going into Christopher Nolan's films, it's usually the case where you kind of feel like you're a bit dumb. But like, I do feel with this film, it almost puts a bit too much in it. And it's kind of a bit like, okay, so there's a World War III happening, there's like this bomb, but like, is the bomb going to be the reason why it's going to come? And I can't really make sense of it, which is actually kind of annoying, because this film is quintessentially everything Nolan. Now, if you think about the actual premise of it, it's kind of similar to Memento in the fact that it uses time. And Christopher Nolan uses time anyway. He used it in Dunkirk as a narrative function. But like with this, he uses it as an editing function with like the amazing, impressive like backwards thing. Like however he did it, I do not know. But he also does it like to serve the narrative, and it's very much like Memento in that fact. And also in a sense, it's also about like family, which in Interstellar was with like this father and daughter, but this time it's the mother and son with Elizabeth Debicki's character, Kat. And also it kind of has the duplicity nature of The Prestige with the two sort of window thing and the two Kenneth Branaghs and like which one was the real one at that time. And Robert Pattinson's character was fighting John Davis Washington. I keep saying John Washington Davis. I do apologise. It's John Davis Washington's character. And like it has all those kind of themes playing upon it. But I think also that's the issue when I say that it has too much in it. It almost plays with everything that Christopher Nolan's pretty much ever done into one little tiny film, and it's just kind of, it wrinkles my brain. Now, I have an issue, and it's maybe because I am that die-hard Nolan fan, that if it doesn't feel like a Nolan film, I can't accept it, like anything, any aspect. And I think this is the issue I have with this one particular thing. The score. Now, the score was done by, sorry, I've got literally the name here because I'll forget it, Ludwig Göransson? I don't know. And I don't think it's his first time working with him, as he usually uses Hans Zimmer, and you can tell. Because this score does not fit a Nolan film. Now, there was one part in particular when they're having like the fight sequence thing in the sort of art gallery type thing, and they were having these like weird Inception was sounds, but literally the action on screen was just one flailing around on the floor, like hitting his hands and the other one hitting their hands, and it just felt disconnected because it's this really dramatic wah wah kind of music, and then it's literally just like Year 11's fighting on Top Yard, just like nyeh, nyeh, nyeh. And I feel like he just didn't know how to score a Christopher Nolan film. However, Nolan isn't the best at filming fight scenes. Like, I love him, I really do, and his work on like The Dark Knight and everything was impressive, and like how he kept to sort of like the martial arts type training because he was trained by the League of Shadows was cool. But if you ever really go back to the fight scenes, they're a little bit ooh when it comes to how they were shot and maybe choreographed a little bit. He kind of can't do that the same, which is weird because he can do these massive like hallway fight sequencey type things, and he can do these like the car sequence in this film, and it's weird when he's just doing combat thing between like a couple of people. So it could be that like it was actually the action that didn't fit the score. But I think either way, they just did not fit. And there was nothing creative about this score. Like with Dunkirk, you had the ticking of the clock constantly, and it was Christopher Nolan's pocket watch. And that's like the little bit of craft in it. And this just seemed sort of like a rehash. I think because Christopher Nolan walked in saying this is going to be more like Inception than any of his other films, that's why he used the bois sounds. It just felt a bit, it didn't feel right. But that's what I felt with the whole of Christopher Nolan's film. It felt a bit lacking. Although I say yes, it's style over substance, he usually does something unique with each film. He tries to test what cinema can be and what you can do with cinema. And this film just didn't seem like he was challenging himself as much as he could. Like I said previous, the car sequence was really, really cool. Like, don't get me wrong. And the last sequence was amazing. Like, the editing, how they did it, I don't really want to know how they did it, but I'm still there going, how did you do that? Like, that's magic. But it just, nothing seemed... Like, with Dunkirk, you had the challenge of how to actually show... a dogfight in IMAX, and like they found a way to like get like two people in in the cockfight things. You could actually have a person flying it, and then you had the actor and they were filming it, and how to like mount these IMAX cameras on there. And then you had with The Dark Knight when they actually blew up a whole friggin' hospital, and the only thing that was CGI was the windows, because the windows were for some reason stolen the day before they were meant to demolish it. And it's like, wow, when you do that. And like, obviously I haven't done much research on Tenet yet because it's only just come out. But I was looking at stuff and I was going, it's impressive, I guess, but like, I'm not excited to learn how you did that like I am with all the other films. Now, I also have another issue with the editing. Now, it's kind of like a bit of this with it, a give and take with the editing, because in one hand, it's really, really impressive how they did the backwards thing, and like I said, I want to know how they did it. But also, in another sense, it kind of fails. And it's more on the smaller scenes rather than the big, sort of, larger sequences. And obviously I know you've got to put more time and effort into those larger sequences for them to pay off and for people to understand what the hell is going on. But you can tell that the smaller sequences were left kind of towards the end. Or at least were rushed to get towards these ones to do first. And the editor was actually a new editor called Jennifer Lame, and she's been on work for like Hereditary, and then she just come off Marriage Story. And I was actually listening to Simon Mayo and Mark Kermode's podcast that they have, and although it wasn't them two interviewing it was another lady, which name I forgot, I'm sorry, he was saying about how he picked Jennifer Lame because he couldn't have his long-term editor. So he looked out for like a new sort of smaller editor, and he came across Jennifer Lame, and he liked the work that she did on Marriage Story with the intimacy. Now, that's one thing I can say with this film. Christopher Nolan got bashed, in a sense, for Dunkirk, and how he didn't invest time in characters. And you can read my blog post for that, or you can watch my Dunkirk review and how I talk about that and how I justify the characterization. But that was a critique of his film. And I think with this one, he goes, you know what? Fuck you then. I'm going to put more time into these characters. And he, in a sense, really does. John Davis Washington's character, although it doesn't have a name, he's under the protagonist in the cast. And we are kind of aligned with him throughout, with a lot of close-ups and like over the shoulder. And we find out information when he finds out a lot of the information as well. Kind of like what he did with Memento again with Guy Pearce. Like, we found out the information as he found out the information. He withheld the information with us through doing it like backwards and all of that kind of narrative structure. Very confusing and like a horseshoe thing. But regardless of that, like, you can see that he likes to put people in the main person's world. So with that, I understand like the level of intimacy and why he may have chose her, but I do think that the editing was really weird. Like, the pacing wasn't the best. Like, it went really fast and then really slogged down at the end, and like some of the cutting between faces felt sort of a bit off. Like, it was almost too quick to cut to people, but then not quick to cut to other faces. It just didn't seem to have a natural flow with the pace. And also, again, like what I was saying previous with how he reveals information, he did that again in this film. You have sort of, not flashbacks, the flashback. The first flashback is kind of like the Elizabeth Debicki character saying about how this lady, she saw this lady just free jumping into this into the ocean basically off the yacht, and how like full of life she seemed and how go-getter she was. And then when you literally watch the end, it is her, and you get like that. I'm literally like Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm like, oh my god, it's her. And with Robert Pattinson's character Neil, when he stops chasing that guy, and I'm like, dude, why you should stop chasing that guy? Like, he could kill you, or like boom this whole operation. And then you find out, oh my god, it's John Washington Davis, and like, pow. It's rewarding. And it's cool to see that, and that's what I like with Nolan's films, is how he structures the narrative and how he gives people information, like, little by little. And if they just kept it simple and didn't have this whole, like, plutonium, World War III, but then also, like, guns and then this material, but then you have one person that's higher up, then you have Kenneth Branagh in a weird Russian accent, but now it's like, oh, he has like a timer around his watch, and if he dies, the world goes with him. And it sounds good, but for me, for some reason, there was something lacking in that narrative. It needed almost like the Interstellar full-on exposition like thing in a way. Like, that kind of would have worked in that film, although it would be annoying. Like, with what we had, I think he needed to give us a little bit more of a help. But again, maybe on the second watch, knowing what I'm going into, I will understand that fully. Now, as much as I do love Christopher Nolan, and although right now I am slating his film, there are some good aspects to Tenet. Now, the first one is representation. He is known to have these white guys in suits, slicked back hair, pretty much him. These Leonardo DiCaprio, Guy Pearce type people in the lead roles. And he went with John David Washington, and actually I loved him so much in BlacKkKlansman, and I loved him in this. He brought a sense of humour to Nolan's films, and like, don't get me wrong, Nolan's films aren't always like doom and gloom. There is a little bit of a back and forth, but with this I noticed the humour more, and I was like, oh, Nolan, you've got a little bit of sense of humour. But it was always brought out in John Washington Davis's character, so I think he was the one that was probably giving that a little bit more of a push, and also the chemistry between him and Robert Pattinson had that sort of back and forth banter that you could have. And although it wasn't like blatantly like ha 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 funny, it was just nice and refreshing to have that in a Nolan film. But also it was nice to see how he handled women. Now, women have always been kind of like a sideline, his whole filmography, and like, it wasn't really much of a change here, but it was kind of like you had the women have more of a prominent role in this. You had Elizabeth Debicki's character that was fully fleshed out. Like, she had motive to hate her husband Kenneth Branagh. She had sort of feelings. She had empathy. You cared about her. You cared about the relationship between her and John Washington Davis's character. There was something between them. Also with the, sorry, I've got her name here, Dimpal Kapada. I'm sorry if I butchered that. I'm terrible. I'm sorry. But the lady who plays Priya, she's the lady behind everything. And I kind of like that when they go up to the building, Robert Pattinson and John Davis Washington, they go and like expect it to be the man, and the woman's like, oh hey girl, it's actually me. And it's like, bam, yeah, women can be in power too, what? And it's just refreshing to see that he's doing that a lot more, giving women more of a role than being just like the dead wife in every single film, or like the dead girlfriend. And I just quickly remembered another actual thing that I had wrong with it was the audio. Now, I don't know if it was my cinema. I have seen a few people comment about the audio, but I struggle with hearing as it is. I have to have like subtitles now on everything. And with this, I think it was how they did like the muffling. I don't get it. With the whole and I'm like, wait, what? And Kenneth Branagh's, although like is quite hot with a Russian accent, I won't lie, I kind of also found him hard to understand, with the microphone, with the muffling, everything. The audio didn't kind of work, and it made me struggle. And I actually saw that there was a subtitle screening, so I may go and actually see a subtitle screening of that, just so I can help understand what's going on, because maybe I was like distracted from struggling to hear. I was like distracted on going, I can't hear it, I can't understand it, so it kind of denied me chance to fully understand what was going on. So if I watch that, it might be better, but it could just be my cinema quality wasn't good, because to be fair, those like it hasn't been refurbished in like 20 years, but it may be issues with that, but there was some issue with the audio. Now, I know I was a little bit rushed and kind of rusty and a little bit waffly with my review just then, but hey, I have not done this in ages, and I kind of missed being back, and it was weird to be back, and I don't know if like the lighting's okay, if the compromise of the frame is okay, if the editing will be okay, if anything will be okay. I really don't know, but it's just kind of nice to be back, and hopefully some of you are excited to see me back and give me some love, and you know. But yeah, so I've been just away doing my blog pieces, which I kind of enjoyed. I did one on Community, just then a sort of character comparison. I've done Christopher Nolan one. I've done some reviews and some interview things for London Film Festival that I've put up on my SoundCloud, but is also linked down in my blog pieces, so go check all of them. They were so fun to do. I got to like interview so many famous, well, not so many famous people, but I don't know, I got to see famous people and it was quite cool. I was like, hello, you're more famous than me, like, hi. I'm going to ask you some questions. You can tell how awkward I would have been. But no, yeah, so I've just been doing kind of that. Like, I don't know how much I will be doing these, but like when and if, really. There's not many films coming out as it is in this weird time that's 2020, but maybe I'll do like a what I've been up to, although I've just said it, but like what films have I been watching, or TV programs that I've been watching over lockdown. But I'm just thought, you know what, you know, Christopher Nolan, he deserves, you know, my voice into this discussion, like my physical voice, my annoying British accent that apparently people like. But yeah, that kind of just out there, and I thought, you know what, it's a fitting time to come back. I can give it a go, and if it doesn't go well, I can go just back to my blog or just kind of annoying people on Twitter. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed me being back. I enjoyed being back, I do. It's kind of weird. I'm kind of rambling because I don't know what to do or what to say. But yeah, so if you have any questions for me on Tenet, and if you think I should go and see a second viewing, then maybe make an updated review on this, let me know. I will probably do it. I have no life after all, so I can probably go to the cinema again. But yes, so that is me done for today. If you want to talk to me, please contact me on all my social media. The links are down below. And yeah, subscribe to me. Ring that bell. I don't know. Whatever the youth are saying these days in the end of their videos. Okay, so I'm gonna go, and you can take your sunglasses off now because this pasty face will be leaving. Yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna go. Bye!